Hi, and welcome to Sports Vision for this week. My name's David Lane, and joining me to talk all things rugby is Adam Fahey, the head coach of the Uni North Owls. Adam, how are you going?
Well, thanks, Dave. How are you?
Oh, I'm not too bad, thanks, mate. Not too bad after the long weekend. Many of us in the rugby community know you through your role as the Rugby Development Coordinator over at the Brumbies, but can you give us a bit more of information about your own playing and coaching career and how you ended up coaching the Owls in 2010?
Yeah, for sure. My playing career started in '94 with the Queanbeyan Whites. I played all my rugby with Queanbeyan. I had 2 years of league with the Queanbeyan Blues. And then in '06 I became the Colts coach at Queanbeyan for 2 years, '06, '07. Then through work commitments had to have a year off. And during those that year off, with many coffees with Russell Ingram, the rugby manager of Uni Norths, it just come about that I ended up coaching. I was given an opportunity to coach at a first grade level, which I took with both hands, and ended up coaching Uni Norths with Pato Noriega.
All right, he's a pretty well-credentialed sort of coach, that fella.
Very well credentialed, Australian scrum coach.
Yeah, very much so. He's got a bit of work to do for this weekend to rectify some of the problems.
He'll need all his expertise, I'd imagine.
I reckon so. It's been a pretty lean time at the club since the ANU team, way back then, won the John I. Dent in the early 90s. Mate, how does that rank as a challenge for a coach coming into the top job?
It's always a challenge to coach at first grade level, and something I'm trying to install into the young group we've got at the moment, that every week is a challenge. Can't take anything for granted at a first grade level. But what makes my life a lot easier is the support staff I've got around me, coaches like Peter O'Neill, for example, Ian Vest, Russell Ingram, Sid Burgess, who's coaching our Colts, plus the support staff we've got there. Fantastic. It makes my life easy and a pleasure to work with this group.
Oh, excellent. Aside from the big influx of students each year into Canberra's tertiary system, how else does the club go about recruiting players who they feel will be a good fit and give a positive contribution to the club both on the field and off the field?
We've been blessed with a number of recruits we've got this year. Obviously, what the Brumbies Academy are looking for. Obviously, they invite clubs to come and talk to players there, and we're not lucky enough to pick up 3 quality players from out of town there. Plus, we've got some good connections New South Wales country, and with the combined states carnival down in Geelong Grammar each year, over the last 3 years we seem to have picked up probably a dozen combined states players out of that as well, and they seem to come up for the 4 years, enjoy themselves, and we get some good value out of them, whatever grade it is.
Excellent, mate. You mentioned that you got a couple of players through the academy there. Can you name some of the other stars in the Owls ranks in 2010?
James Ambrosini, our 5'8", probably one of our main players that the team's built around, despite his age. Winston Wilson, the centre, played Samoan under-20s last year. Up front, we've got 3 young front rowers who I think are all very good. Leslie Macon, young local boys in the academy. Ron Hobden from New South Wales country, and Chris Sortini, who makes his mark wherever he goes, the big fella, 145 kilo of him.
Mate, I'm not a shade off that myself, but I'm sure he's more mobile than me.
He's going very well at the moment. And we've got a number of 3 young kids from Queensland are really stepping up as well.
Yeah. Having played with the Killer Bees at the University of Canberra, I can attest to the atmosphere of a collegiate club. But it's usually a little bit different to a normal rugby club. Can you give us a bit of an insight into what makes Uni Norths a great club to be associated with?
The big difference is we don't have probably your older heads, your mainstays. We've got the best way to describe it is a youthful exuberance amongst the club, and that's constant, always. A lot of them just bounce around from day to day, full of Red Bull, and always full of energy, always positive about everything they're doing. Love their rugby, love the camaraderie. One thing, because the age bracket is not very different at all. So that's probably the big difference amongst all, both on and off the field. They do enjoy themselves. Yeah.
Back in my playing days at the university, the bar night was a big bonding session each Thursday night. Does that still carry on with your young blokes?
No, I discourage Thursday nights. I can't stop it, but I try to discourage that as much as possible and put more emphasis in the Saturday night functions.
Celebrations of your wins as well.
Yes.
Excellent. The Uni Norths women's team has been one of the form women's teams in the region over the last couple of years and managed to go through undefeated last year on their way to their premiership. How did the club go about recognising that achievement, and what lessons can you learn as a coach from their experiences?
For the club, we recognised them greatly at the presentation night. It was should have just been the presentation night for them, but credit to them, they're a great side, very well disciplined, very well coached. And I had a look at some of the things they were doing, and in particular their strength and conditioning component, and we managed to pinch her to take over the whole club's strength and conditioning, and I think that's probably been our biggest improvement this year. Has it been our general fitness and strength throughout the grades, and so pinching her was probably one coup we've got, but she still helps them out a lot, and the girls are still going very well. I think they've lost one game this year to Tuggeranong, but that rivalry's
it's very.
It's great.
It's very strong this year, isn't it?
It's great for the competition to see two teams go at it.
Yeah, it's very good. You mentioned her. Of course, we should mention her name is Emily Sapwell. She's a physical training instructor over at ADFA. So you boys certainly have your work cut out.
She's
seen her.
Very good at what she does. Very serious.
Very serious and a very fit young lady.
But great variety of training and keeps the boys on their toes, put it that way.
Oh, that's excellent.
No one's questioned anything she's done this year today.
I reckon she could take out a few of those first graders in an arm wrestle. So
I'm trying to get her to play at some stage.
And she can play. She certainly do that.
Yeah.
Mate, well, you've had a couple of wins this year. You narrowly got beat on the weekend.
Yep.
You're looking to go back-to-back with a good win over, was it Tuggeranong the week before?
Yeah, we beat Tuggeranong.
Tuggeranong, of course. They're one of the pace setters in the competition every year, so it's excellent to see that you guys have got a little bit of momentum this year and taking into it and taking those things on.
Yeah, it was very good.
Excellent. Well, good luck for the rest of the season. Wish all those uni boys the best with their studies, first and foremost.
Correct.
Exactly, because you don't want them, skiving off and having a good time.
Keep the parents happy.
That will be good. And, mate, I look forward to seeing you out at ANU North very, very soon.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks very much for having me.
Thank you very much.
No worries.